I've never exactly listened to the lyrics of this song before, and yet for some reason, I hear them clearly now. Alright, so I'll draw a little bit of an environment. Hello to you, tuning in here with the... I feel like I've come up. I feel like I've facilitated 2 of your name variations lately. Are you paying some meaty taxes? I'm apparently not paying some meaty taxes of like student discounts and things, and that's something. Yeah. How's Thursday? I'm gonna be here for like, let's have the timer up. I'm thinking half an hour, however, whatever amount doesn't actively end me, because some of it, oh yeah, what is that short edition, limited edition, yes, it's, the essay that I was writing last week, that I canceled the Thursday stream last week for, it's not done. I just decided to be late on it for a point deduction because I was doing it badly. So anyway, I'm here for a short amount of time. How ridiculous! That's what a disaster going on. I have the urge to draw a little environment because I have the suspicion, I have the superstition, I'm highly superstitious, very superstitious, that it's gonna improve my day somewhat if I do some small sort of thing. There, they say you can't spell essay without easy. Who says this? What, did someone say this to you? What kind of scenario did somebody say this to you in? And can I meet them for tutoring or some shit? Oh my god. Oh my god. So, in the realm of ideas, it starts with a little bit of mountains, I guess. That makes sense as something that goes on. I don't know, I could cut it down to 15 minutes depending on how nervous I get, because the idea tuning in here is that I'm gonna get less nervous and it's gonna be incredible. You're saying, may I recommend you ChatGPT? The hilarious thing about that is that my dad is like into all of the whatever. He's like, my child, the way you're supposed to do it these days, great influence, I know, the way you're supposed to do it these days, he's supposed to put it in the AI. And I'm saying, even if I were of an inclination to do so, the way that I chose my essay subject was to cause the most amount of harm to the greatest amount of human beings. And when you ask AI to write an essay about that, it refuses. It's still, I've been gestating this concept for weeks, apparently. It's still the concept about coughing directly into someone's mouth. And it's against the ethical parameters or something, so I'm not going to be able to prove. I'm going to be able to prove to any instructors I didn't touch the AIs. It's a little freaking hilarious to be surrounded by encouragement to do so and have locked myself out of it. It's a little bit hilarious to be at the crossroads of those 2 points. Hi, Kai. Hi, Kai. Hi. Hello to you, Cosmozoid. You're saying, may I recommend French cats and global paramedic training? If I look this up right now, then does something in particular come up? Because that sounds too specific. Hello to Cool Kid. Yeah. How are you always on this grind set? How are you always on the grind set of not finding the link in the description type of grind set? It doesn't make any sense to call anything a grind set, but it does make me want to see the Minecraft movie. Just the Gen Z speaks sort of it. So, the chat is French for cat, and then Oh. Wasn't there some kind of a thing about French speakers trying to say the term ChatGPT and then it seems like they're announcing the actions of a literal cat because due to their language. I feel like I read something about that specifically. Perhaps even reblogged you. There's something saying that seems like a nice topic for an essay. Coughing directly into people's mouths. I thought so too. That's why I chose it. But what am I made of? What am I made of that my focus aligns in this manner? What am I made of that my priorities align in the matter that consistently harm me? So there's look back at the chat to see the pussy. But God, that reminds me, I've been just so wondering about the YouTube regulations on swear. There's that one ProZD video where he's like, YouTube says that you are no longer allowed to swear in the first 7 to 15 seconds, and if you do it just in the seconds past that, you're good to go. That's sort of in the back of my head, definitely, as I publish a short at literal midnight where I pronounce the word dick like a gunshot. So there's Bible discussion meeting going on, picturing a cat nurse with a cigarette and a beret. Something so French about cats. Something can be so French about cats. And this isn't just from the year-old splinter in my psyche about having watched Miraculous Ladybug at some point in my life. Okay, so there's the Magma link, double drop. Did it stand for Global Paramedic Training before it stood for... Actually, what does it stand for? I only know it as the... as the tool overtaking my classroom as I walk into the class and see everybody using the AIs. I just know it as the thing in the world. Is a creature emerging from the mountains. That's very important. You gotta have a creature emerging from the mountains. Even if I'm just here for a half an hour to see if scribbling some mountains calms me down, it's really good to see a couple of versions of this creature. This is pretty cool. There's 60 saying drop college and become an entrepreneur, be your own boss, scam some people, go to jail for a couple of years, make bad financial decisions, divorce 4 wives and refuse to pay child support, gamble. Am I being encouraged to invent a crypto scam? Well, I trust your advice so much there's no choice but to invent a crypto scam right now. How's Shadow doing on the market, by the way? Ooh, okay, a little bit of this. I've seen the most marvelous video that has sort of inspired me to look at landscapes a little bit. The thing is, the one that inspired me was naturally the culmination of an artist's entire years and hours worth of effort distilled into a single YouTube short. The sort of thing that distorts your perception of what's possible and how long it might be possible. I have thought of some interesting sort of things before. For some reason, I have the half-formed idea. Let's put this together with a greater respect to the canvas. I have a half-formed idea of a type of a space whale, but I'm gonna put some acorns on it. I think when sometimes it's autumn outside and you look at the ground and you're like, that's a tasty looking ground. Some sci-fi world building should respect this. Hello, the body of the creature. My, what big legs you have. Glumping around, Godzilla. Very, very creature up in here. I'm always delighted to see some kind of creature emerge. this could be applied to so many situations. How many situations does one really see a creature emerge? Let me go and check my settings, see if a creature emerges from it. The settings are regular. This cosmos so insane. The creature emerging from the background makes me think of a Humanity event with Upoa the Bloody Touching Monster. I'm looking up images right exactly now so the images can go into my brain so I can understand. The subject saying it's incredible genre creatures alone never seen before, everyone on Earth, including inanimate objects like rocks, have an equivalent to 45 octodillion shadow coins. I've almost reached the US dollar, haven't I? The Zimbabwe dollar. Oh, devastating. Oh, completely revealing. Okay, what the hell was I looking up before this? I'm looking up Ubawa in the Humanike. What is monstrously around? A couple of arts reminded me of Gaster, and sure enough, the first question most frequently asked up in here is Gaster inspired by Uboa? Yeah, okay. And there's Kobe is with the I'm done now. My job here is finished. Bye-bye. Goodbye to you indeed, Kobe. I'm probably taking this spaceship on a different sort of thing. I feel like I don't know what it's going to look like, which is strange for something that I almost feel I see clearly in my head. Sort of. There's Cosmozone saying, I think it's Zimbabwe's dollar that equals that. Okay, a few million of the Zimbabwe dollar equal 1 USD. How do you even keep track of it at that point? That's incredible. That's terrifying. A great and horrible terror all wrapped into one real life experience. I'm thinking this ship goes off into the distance. Sort of like this, and then it's also tubular. I got this video suggested to me about somebody making a Geometry Dash level in 3D, but this fella made a programming language so that all of the 2D elements inherent to Geometry Dash would appear to be 3D, painstakingly, mad scientistly, one bit at a time. Okay, so this is kind of what's going on. Would space creatures be shaped differently from... Cause like Space Whale, I think it's an overdone concept, and I still have the urge to do one right now. To Step 1, Space Whale. Step 2, Space Whale waifu. Okay, so what are we putting here? If I put some little flagella thingy, it's looking like a bacteria. That's pretty interesting too. I guess I can put one to this side, and then I can show something like this to show what's on here. Just sort of a real zoom in type of thing. There's Cosmos 95 saying 2008 was the ultra hyperinflation for the Zimbabwe dollar thing. That's what it was. What? Hey, I see you speculating about the value of shadow coins. I see you on this baseless speculation sort of a thing. You're putting letters into the numbers. That's not a real thing. You cannot trick me on this. There's talk of a space clam whale going on. 200 liters of water are needed to produce one. Okay, so if I look up, I've only just been in the most haphazard of biology class. May I have an image of rotifer if I'm looking it up? The animal. Ooh, Oh, that one's segmented. This one is so segmented. I think I was creating some kind of hideous E. coli, which I don't even like that much or at all because it's an E. coli. But this is a cool shaped little bug. At what size is something no longer considered a bug? Okay, so I want there to be cool texturedness things going on. Some cool texturedness things shall go on. You're saying rotifers and stentors are microanimals. They feel kind of whaley if you scale them up to super cosmic scales, right? And then I'm looking at this thing. It is shaped a little bit like Starship Voyager, if I at least the first Google result sort of thing. Just a little bit, just a tiny bit. And this, what he's saying, the letter is basically saying that there are 298 zeros in that number. You say that it's saying that as a mathematical term. What if, consider for a moment that I'm not listening to it. What then? If meaning is a two-way exchange, and I do not receive and I do not cash that check, much as other people do not cash my checks, then what happens exactly? There's customers saying I consider bugs meiofauna, not quite microfauna, but you can still see them. Once you can't see them anymore, I call them micro. So I now need to know who was the human being with the greatest amount of eyesight in every iteration. Somebody must have been born with an eyeball that was just a little bit larger, and the eyesight that was like perfectly formed on top of that bounteous orb. Somebody must have been able to see a tiny little bit smaller than everyone else. Not that it ultimately matters, because the eyesight tends to be pretty regular across all groups. Okay, so I think although I started drawing the space whale, I do very much still want it to be kind of a landscape. Very much a landscape. Does that mean putting a peculiar little canyon in it? Well, that seems a little bit painful for our new dear friend. Okay, but is there a canyon in my worm? I say of things, there's something saying I want to go back to the Carboniferous period with small car-sized bugs. Good old times. What do you want to do with the small car-sized bugs? I know there's at least one Redditor whose girlfriend is a small car-sized bug. And yet, I've seen no inclination, no sign that you would also be such a person. You'd be suspecting you're going to ride them because they are a car. I'm gonna take that in the car sense. There's Zuko he was born with the best vision. He could see all the shrimp colors, but his glasses were thick enough to be triple bulletproof. There's Somedet Jr. appearing to say I'm late. Hey, it's a very short stream, so I dare say that by appearing right now, even you have caught most of it. It's a very short stream indeed. This guy's saying the feeling when you want to sketch in the magma, but that requires getting the iPad and draw. I saw a very motivational Tumblr post the other day, Kai. It said, stop drawing for other people. Don't draw for yourself either. Play video games. And you know, sometimes you just see something that's so influential in your life that it really echoes at the back of my head for an extended amount of time. There's Somedet Jr. in the smiley face speedrun. Oh, shall I witness? Oh, that's another thing. You could sketch in the manga. And then you would create, therefore, a custom manga. You know, there's pages that are more blank in the beginning and end. The smiley face speedrun. The smiley face continuity is still being continued. There's honestly, I was sorting my downloaded, well, I can't, like, rightfully look through all of my files and see every ounce of personal information, my exact location on the stream. However, oh wait, I can look through stuff if I zoom my face in. Super huge. Alright, so this is not... Oh, it keeps going. Oh, hello. This is now the entire screen, I'm assuming. Hopefully I'll be able to fix that later, because I did lose one of the things that allowed me to do that. Anyway, I'm looking in my own files because I wanted to see Kai Arts. There's talk of a hold shift and resize it. Ooh. Ooh, okay. Wait, are you trying to get me to distort my own face? I'm hiding my screen to look for past Kai Arts because I had downloaded a bunch of stuff and I think I forgot to upload a bunch of it too. In any case, I was looking through the old arts just a little bit and just being terribly impressed by the... Oh God, what the hell am I looking at? I've been terribly impressed by the artistic progression of Kai and things. There's been some incredible times in here, dare I say. Well, I would, dare I say. Sure, let's close out of this. Let's set this back to normal. Let's hit shift on my own face. Is that what we're doing? Shift. Most interesting. You ever notice how in character design, when they want to make someone smarter, they make the head a little bit longer, a little bit elongated? Maybe I should keep it like that. Maybe I should keep it like this. There's saying you always forget you have the huge face sense of superpower. I mean, with the forehead this big, you gotta do something with it. I'm not getting spaghettified. I did forget what setting I had this on though. Before I did that. Well, whatever is fine. The right amount of face is happening, and I just gotta trust that. But yeah, there's been some. I can't tell if we did this like last one over. It must have been over a couple of streams. In any case, I see this in the files, in the downloads, and I'm like, manga when though? When is the manga coming out? And also, okay, this has to have been one of the ones that was also posted in the Discord for posterity, for all of it. They're saying, why is your personal credit card information in that file? Because I'm organized. Because it just happens to look like a beautiful art that guy has coincidentally drawn, and that's what has happened. Okay, so what is the ultimate form of the worm? Okay, so there's I might put safe for work Sasuke out of a job. What we're saying? Whoa, oh sweet Jesus, there's boobs right above me. So, where am I? Looking in the chat, some fluffy Yuri manga is possibilities in here. Spaghetti vacation. There's guys saying my ace sketch. oh, I've murdered the motivations even more. There's no emotions left, only grief. Okay, so I'm still attempting to figure out what I think maybe there could be a little waterfall happening, only if this thing goes into some basic atmosphere. Otherwise, the water is naturally gonna stay on it. And okay, so I'm just sort of imagining very lovely, very beautiful autumnal trees on the giant space worm. Why are the trees autumnal? if you are in space? This is another question that I don't quite know. Maybe it has to do with the internal clock of the worm that swims around some rocks. Maybe that's what goes on there. Okay, I don't miss anything. I just draw some. I want to do unified color palette. Last 5 or 6 minutes of whatever the hell this stream even is. I'm gonna have a good day. Probably. I'm gonna get done all the things that I wanna do. I'm still trying to post a daily video, and it hasn't made sense a couple of times. What are autumnal colors? A little bit of this, a little bit of this, and I feel like I could put some sort of bright neon sort of pinks in there. And then exactly say, what you save our hearts was in the terms and conditions of these streams. Unfortunately, yes, all along the terms and conditions of these streams were very much saved in perpetuity to both perp and ituity. So, there we go with that. So there comes on saying the space whale is going into hibernation, so space whale autumn. Ooh. Does it drift around, I wonder? 'Cause I am imagining, naturally, sorry to be basic out here, that a spacefaring civilization of, like, herders or nomads lives on its back. I'm thinking. And then... yeah, I mean, it fits into, like, this existing OC sort of story that I have. Cursory, or just very light involvement on. Okay, so trying to figure out a little bit more of the color palette to see what it all is. Something is probably blue, something is probably green. In any case, this little civilization of nomads is going to help a character find self-esteem after she has a fight with her friends. I love inserting a very basic little plot onto that. Just slap them together. The lunch meat slaps onto the cheese. It makes a sandwich. It's all together. This is saying my advice: take it easy, fam. I don't want to stress the tide out of mushrooms. You'll never see hide or hair of a stress going on. Look at me, loosey goosey, the most unstressed person you've ever seen. Oh, I feel like I could give life advice to someone else right now if they were to ask me how to be calm, and I would say, just do it. There's Cosmozone saying, just between stars, leaps in the times, far enough between stars to save energy, right? And then I keep thinking, is the scale that I'm thinking of this at, is it too enormous, maybe? Because I kind of, my drawing ability right now makes me want to say, draw a little tree. Let's unify a singular color palette. If it's the last thing I do, what can I do? A singular color palette. It's all going to be a little bit golden, I guess. Or perhaps a little bit pierce yellow. One of those. It's gonna be gorgeous, of course. Hello to Z. You've come in at quite the time. I've decided on a shorter stream today because I've been quite the idiot about my homework. I told when I was meeting my cousins for the first time, I told one of the baby ones that I do my best even though I'm not very smart, and then I think the kid said, he was like 11, don't talk about yourself like that, and I was like, alright, I'll try. Dang. Okay, called out. I don't know, I just wanted to put it into terms that made sense. I wanted it to make sense universally. When near stars, the whale turns a leafy sort of cabbage green purple. A cabbagey sort of whale, photosynthesis sort of whale. This is truly miraculous, spectacular. There's Sunda Jr. saying how to be calm. Well, My name is Dead saying, is that a bug? It's a space whale inspired by a bug indeed. I'm gonna make people live on it. Well, this has been the half-hour stream. What a silly thing. What a silly thing to do indeed. What a silly thing to do indeed as I try to focus on the homeworks. Sleepy saying my cousin got really calm when he drank a bucket of paint. Maybe that can help. Did the can help? But I don't know if you want to be that calm. How calm was it? The Ziggy who's becoming one with the muck. You know, I'm so spiritually aligned with that I kind of want to continue this idea in the next drawing sort of a stream. There's asking if things are a Pokemon, are things a space whale, maybe. A can of paint has been drinking. The stream is extremely small, and here we go. Thanks for stopping by. I promise not to panic. You're saying my cousin calmed down after he punched the wall 10 times to try that? I'm thinking that in the definition of calm, you ain't got no hands. You got no hands. Your knuckles separate from your other knuckles, and you got no hands anymore. Well, that's interesting. I'll consider that definition of calm prodigiously. You two are plotting murder. Thanks for saying hi, and I'll see you next time after I'm done with my